Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Tuesday. Welcome to Game Day Live, presented by the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network and the Primetime Radio Studios, along with Angry Brew. My name is Vinnie, Parise, and I am here with Shorts Guy as we get you set for New Jersey Devils hockey as they take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Welcome to all fans watching on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch. Devils and the Penguins, both of them kind of having unsatisfying, bad, no good seasons based on their standards. But before we get to that, Shorts Guy, how we doing?
Tired. Real tired. I just uncharacteristically took a nap, which I don't normally do. But recovering from the big Let's Go Devils podcast Western excursion from the weekend.
Very, very good. It seems like you guys had a great trip. I know the one show I did with you guys while you were out there kind of had a little bit of technical difficulties, but it was good to hear from Ken Danico. But overall, how was your experience? How did you enjoy the trip?
Devils victories aside, or Devils lack of victories aside, it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time with not only us, but the half of the other part of. If I can talk, it's so tired. I can't talk. With little Steve and Billy Dean from Hockey on Tap. So it was good to get everyone together. We had a lot of fun, and a lot of miles traveled in a short amount of time. So a lot of time in the air logged as well. Overall, it was a good time. It was exhausting, but it was a good time.
Very, very good. I'm happy you guys had a good time. I know when you texted me when you were over the land of Lincoln, I got to hear from you guys while you were above me, so that was real cool. I'm glad it was a good time. It seems like the Mullet Arena, I know I got to get there. Even if I get there for the first time post Coyotes living there, I would like to get to a Mullet Arena game for Arizona State. I love college hockey. I'm as amped for next weekend with the championship games and then the following weekend with the start of the tournament as anybody. So I'd like to see Arizona State, with my own two eyes play at Mullet too. So I'm sure it's great. But there's a task at hand tonight for the New Jersey Devils again. Shorts Guy, they're not going to the playoffs. Like I think that's pretty obvious at this point. I mean, are you kind of there too? Took us longer than most people.
Yeah, I still have a little bit of hope. It's tough not to have a little bit of hope when we remain like 6 points out. Like 6 points out. We're still like we're like right there within reach. But they just don't seem like it's a winning streak away from being in the playoffs, but they don't seem like they want to be. They don't seem like they want it. Like if we would have won out this weekend, I believe we would have been like 4 points or even 2 points out. So I would love to say, there is no chance, but with us being as close as we are, remaining as close as we are, despite how poorly they're playing right now, it's hard to fully be committed to now we're not making it.
I totally understand that, and it does kind of seem like all the wild card teams in the Eastern Conference, it's kind of been like bad hockey. The fact that there's 6 teams involved is amazing hockey, but also like it seems like all these teams act like they want it and then they don't. So Detroit, they won 6 in a row, and you're like, oh, Detroit, they're gonna run away with this thing, and the top 8 are really looking like the top 8. And then they lose 6 in a row after they put that new patch on their jersey. And I don't know how you feel about the Shorts Guy. In my opinion, the Detroit Red Wings have the best jerseys in the NHL. I know that's sacrilegious for someone living in Chicago to say, but that is wholeheartedly my honest opinion. I think it is the nicest jersey in the NHL. And you put a trash company logo on it and you start to play like trash. It's honestly unreal how that ended up working out, and they lost 6 in a row since putting the patch on. They got a big win over Buffalo on Saturday, but overall just not good enough from them. The Islanders, they had their nice little run. I think they won 6 in a row and they were in a playoff spot for a hot minute, and then they've cooled off. Buffalo got real hot. Now they're in position. They haven't had that like drop off yet, but they are kind of teetery-tottering. They're 4 points out themselves. Washington is hot right now. Their underlyings are terrible. The advanced stats community is so confused and so annoyed with the Washington Capitals with how they're in the playoffs right now. It's you're kind of starting to wonder, like, when is it the Devils' turn? When is it their turn to get hot and see what they can do and see if they can hang on? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's coming.
Yeah, I don't know. I know with watching them play the way they did this weekend, it's actually the tale of two teams where you look what they did Thursday against Dallas, and you're like, who the hell is that team? And then they come out and yeah, the Coyotes took them hard, especially in the first period, but it was like a totally different team with the Devils wanted nothing to do with scoring. Um, it's so tough to gauge because you don't know what team's going to show up from this New Jersey Devils. You don't know if that run's going to come. If that run comes, okay, then we have a chance. But if we get into the playoffs, what are we going to do in the playoffs? Because this team doesn't seem like they really want it at all. And I hate to say that because I got to imagine that all the players want it, but they just seem like they don't.
Yeah, they don't come out and start games well, which I think is an ultimate sign. It's a coaching problem. It's a culture problem. I'm not saying that the core of this team is rotten or anything like that. Like, I do believe they can win big with this core, but it just doesn't seem like they have that it factor this year that they did last year. And sometimes that carries year over year. Sometimes it doesn't. You're playing against a team tonight that you should be able to beat. The Pittsburgh Penguins have been cold lately. If Crosby's not, making stuff happen, Malkin is. He's still a good player. There was a point where in my opinion, there was a 5 or 6 year span where he was the second best player in the league, only behind Sid, who's on his same team. Malkin's probably like 60% of himself. Jake Gensel's not there anymore. Christopher Letang and Erik Karlsson. Taking a swing on Erik Karlsson, I kind of respect it because, they're taking one final kick at the can. I hope if we get to Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier being in their mid-30s and they've won a cup or two, I hope that whoever's the GM at the time does take one more swing out of respect for them. That's how I would feel as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, I respect going for Erik Karlsson, even though it's not really working out in terms of producing wins. But you got the Pens tonight. You got the Jets on Thursday. Those are two. The Pens aren't a tough team, but it's a division rival that has star players. The Jets are one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Then you got the Senators, who you should be able to beat, and then the Islanders, who are right there battling with you, who the Devils have played well against at times. But, I mean, it's nothing's for certain. I just, like you said, it's hard to give up all hope knowing that like a 3 or 4 game winning streak would really put them right back in it. And the other teams in the Eastern Conference have begged the Devils to come up and take that spot. They have literally begged them. I think in any other year, they would have been put away by now. That 6% chance of making the playoffs would be 0 right now in any other year. And, like I said, it makes for a compelling end to the season. Maybe the Devils will enter the final 5 games of the season within a handful of points, and some luck could go their way, like at least in the imagination category. Because we're there right now. This is game number. What game number is this gonna? This is gonna be game number 69 for the Devils. Nice. It's tough right now, man. I don't. If they win tonight, I'll be all the way back in because they'll have 70 points and they'll be within 5 points of a playoff spot, depending on, Washington's off tonight. I think Detroit does play. Washington has the Leafs tomorrow. The Detroit's got the Blue Jackets, man. So, like, even if the Devils win and the Red Wings win, then they'll be, 6 points out. So it's just all bad, no good for the Devils at this point. I'm not sure if we lost Short Sky or if I'm lost, but I actually think Short Sky is lost. So, oh, there you are. You back? Short Sky? Yeah, he can't hear me, but I can see him actively moving. So I'll just keep talking. This Devils team, when they start off so bad, I don't understand why it is that they can end games the way that they do. There are times where they start off so well or so poorly. They're down 3-0 to Arizona, and then in the end, it's like, where was this team the whole game?
Yeah.
Why does this continuously happen? And then same thing. Vegas, they started off okay. They kind of had like a meltdown in the third period. Both of these games were so winnable, but against the Penguins tonight, I would love to see him just come out and score 3 goals right off the bat, be up 3-0
Yeah.
before halfway through the second period is over. And Shorts guy, it looks like you're back.
Yes, I am.
What are
Yeah,
your
sorry.
thoughts?
I don't know what happened. So my thoughts are this. We were joking around the other day that this is the battle of the 6% tonight. 6% chances, like 6 point something versus 6 point something with the Penguins. And went even further with little Steve, saying if there was any way for our teams to both lose together tonight, they would find a way to lose. With how badly the Devils and the Penguins have been playing, it's almost like if the league was just like, listen, why don't both of you go home? Here's a point. Why don't you both go home? Because you guys have just been playing so terribly. So this really is a matchup to where both of these teams can find a way to lose at the same time tonight. So that's just the way that they've both been playing. I don't know what really to expect. We have had Pittsburgh's number recently, which is a good positive sign. So we have to see what we do tonight.
If the NHL were like baseball, they'd only be 1 game back.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that is something to kind of keep in mind, right? They have had a hard time getting games to overtime this year. The tying with the goalie pulled has been non-existent this year when it was quite helpful last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you get to overtime and you're running out Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt, Luke Hughes. I mean, that's better and faster than what most other teams throw out, but they haven't been able to get there as much. I mean, the Islanders have 15 loser points. The Devils have 3 more wins than the Islanders. They have 2 more than the Penguins. They have
Mm-hmm.
1 fewer than Buffalo. They have 2 fewer than Detroit, and 1 fewer than Washington. They would be in an okay spot if there was no loser point. And I'm not advocating to get rid of something that's been in the NHL for as long as it has been. It just tells me that this team isn't bad. It's just like everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. I'm not all in on Travis Green as the coach. There are a couple complaints that I have. I don't love Jack Hughes on the wing. I don't love Timo Meier on his off wing. I don't love a lot of the lineup decisions with Brendan Smith playing every single game and whatnot. But, I mean, you figure that out. You figure out goaltending during the offseason. Jake Allen, if he's the 1B next year, that means they traded for someone pretty good, I would assume. And, that's something that could get this team back on track. I hope they're more like the Florida Panthers during their down year than, let's say, the Vancouver Canucks during their down year a couple years ago, 2021-22. It took them a while to get back to where they are now. We'll see. But it's been a little discouraging.
Yeah, it has been very discouraging. And there needs to be a change, but it just seems like some of our top players have been missing. Jack is either there's something not right with him physically, or there's something not right otherwise, because he just seems like he's been missing. Jesper Bratt seems like he's been missing. We had 4th and 3rd line scoring in the game against Dallas, and what did DeSimone score the goal in Arizona or Vegas? I can't remember.
It was in Arizona because he had a tough. The Logan Cooley goal was like a direct result of a DeSimone turnover, and then he kind of came out and made up for it later in the game by scoring one.
Yeah, so it's like the players that should be scoring aren't scoring right now, and
yeah,
at least if we had them scoring, maybe they can make up for the shoddy defense. And that's what we need. Like, everyone's got to wake up on this team if they want to make the playoffs, and it just seems to be like they just don't want it. And I don't know what's there. I don't know what's wrong, but it's not good. It's not good enough. Like the sign has said for weeks at this point, it's not been good enough, and it's still not good enough. Like these players have to show up.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. If last year the defense wasn't perfect last year, I know VTech was a lot better. V was good last year in the regular season. They outscored any issues that they might have had, though. They didn't get shut out a single time last year. They I don't even know. Jack
I don't know.
Hughes was just all world. He was incredible. Nico Heischer, the offense has been there in the second half for Heischer.
Yeah.
His two-way game's always good. And honestly, it wouldn't shock me, despite how bad this season has been for the Devils, if they've had like two guys nominated for an award. If Luke Hughes is a Calder Trophy nominator or nominatee or however you say it, it would not shock me. And if Heischer gets a third place finish in the Selke voting, I wouldn't be shocked either. It's unlikely, but I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, and that would be the oddity of this season, to have these guys nominated for these awards in this down season. And I'm with you. If this is one of those down seasons that brings about a lot of good coming forward, that's great. It's not fun, but I'll take it for now. But yeah, like there's been small things here and there, but I kind of this is going to be tough to say, but last season could have potentially been the worst thing for us. Playing as well as we did, getting as many points as we did, getting us all as excited as it did for this season, which has been underwhelming almost from the start. That 7-0 in the preseason was just, I think everyone got super excited for that, and it was just downhill from there. Almost, it felt like. So it's our season recaps at the end of the year are going to be tough. They're going to be
100%.
because
we set unrealistic expectations.
Last season absolutely did.
Yes, because this team is still so young.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was perfect health. I mean, they didn't need to call up Nemitz at all last year.
No.
They did this year. I don't think the plan was to call him up in November. I'm thankful. That's a blessing in disguise, because next year he's going to come in. Him, Luke Hughes, and Dougie Hamilton could form like a sick big three next year. Which, again, the Devils will benefit, probably win more games, you would think. The offense will be a lot healthier, I think. Meyer, hopefully, is in a position to succeed next year. Hopefully they figure out the third line center role that went to crap, a couple months ago due to some off-ice legality issues. And, that's another thing that really hurt this team hockey-wise. Nobody cares because, I like to think everybody's a good human being outside of him. But, we'll see how that comes to be. It's tough to lose that checking third line center that can also score. I mean,
Yeah.
I think about like the Penguins with Nick Bonino back in the late 2010s, the Chicago Blackhawks with Marcus Kruger. Those guys are important. And, they had that. They don't anymore. It's something that needs to get addressed. We'll see how that goes. But Shorts Guy, we're running out of time because we're up against the ball with the actual game itself starting. So hopefully these people can get their predictions in the chat on YouTube right now. What's your prediction going into tonight's game?
I don't think I've predicted against the Devils yet this season, and I'm not going to start tonight. There is a chance because both of these teams are down, and with the way the Penguins have been playing, believe it or not, the Penguins are a team that have been playing worse than us. It seems like that the Penguins hit a wall and then they just kind of stay down. Like I said, little Steve and I, he's a Penguin fan. We're joking about, but can both of our teams lose tonight? Well, I'm not going to predict the Devils to lose. I am going to predict the Devils' victory because they have the Penguins number at home, and I'm going to say 5-2 with a Devils victory tonight.
Very good. I'm reading all predictions tonight because people who pick the Penguins, they are well within their right on a night like tonight, in my opinion.
Do it.
Joseph says 5-0 Devils. Select a Boy says 4-3 Devils. Morgan says 4-2 Devils. Steve Engel says 6-2 Devils. Survey says 3-2 Pens. And they're a Devils fan, so there you go. Michael says F it, 3-1 Penguins. It worked against Dallas. Like the way you think.
All right, I'll pick
Beach
that.
says 7-4 Devils. Max says 6-4 Devils. Ryan Graves will score against us. It's inevitable. Max thinks that Graves has a lot in common with Thanos. He's just inevitable. Zach says 5-1 Devils. And JP says Allen is playing for a shutout or for a starting job shutout. Dubs says 1-0 Devils. Donnell says 5-2 Devils. Sam Wu says 4-2 Devils to cap that off. I am going to go with I'm going to pick a high scoring game. I think the Devils win this game 6-4. 6-4.
6-4. All right.
According to Sam, Jake the Snake is the answer. Jake the Snake.
I'll tell you what, Vin. Everyone, yourself included, is going to have to listen to whenever we do the Western Road Swing recap show, because Sam Wu was in fine form up in the upper reaches of T-Mobile Arena, to the point where he had little kids yelling at him, parents yelling at him, and it was just wild. I have not seen Sam Wu in that type of form in a long time. And it's all about Jake the Snake and being snake bitten.
That's incredible. That's what I like to hear from Sam. I mean, think about the day Sam probably had. He's in Vegas. Everything, it's hot. The stream died in the middle of having one of the greatest Devils of all time on it. Again, it's hot.
It actually wasn't hot. It actually wasn't hot. I guess.
That's right. That's right. You guys did say that.
Yeah.
Although it probably felt hot when I told you how cold it was here. When you guys, it might be,
yeah, it's true.
It might be colder here than there. Yeah, okay. I don't think there's ever a point where it's colder in Vegas than it is here, even when it's freezing by their standards. But then you're in the game. The Devils stink. Yeah, you gotta have a couple. And crew brews.
It was a darn good time. So yeah, anyone that everyone should just be on the lookout for the recap show, because we'll probably have the Hot Pod guys on, and it'll be a good time.
Absolutely. And thank you to all the fans watching today on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever it is you catch our program. We are eternally grateful for you. Hopefully the Devils are able to pick out a good win tonight against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And after the show, or after the game, make sure you tune in to Devils After Dark, where you can listen to Sam Wu and Scotty of Sirius XM Liquid Metal recap the game that was. Shorts guy, before we dip out of here, do you have any final words?
No, I just hope that the Devils can do something good tonight.
Absolutely. That's what I like to hear. I'm excited for the game. I like watching the Devils play against Crosby and Malkin. I still think even at this stage of the game, where Jack and Nico are, where Sid and Gino are, I still think there's something to be learned from playing against legends like that. I mean, these are two top 20 players all time. Going to be in the Hall of Fame, probably get a statue type players. There's a lot you can learn from guys like that just being around them. So hopefully they pull out a big win tonight against them and get themselves kind of a little bit closer. We shall see. But as always, let's go Devils.